To begin with, let's take a look at this quote. God recognized this and caused Adam to fall asleep into a deep sleep. He then took one of Adam's ribs from him, which he fashioned into a woman who was called Eve. These extracts from the Bible showcases how women were originally created for men, and as a result of this, they have been seen as inferior and unequal.
I'm Alejandro Luciano.
I'm Alejandra Guzman.
And I'm Naomi Hannah.
And in this presentation, we're going to be talking about how gender inequality still prevails. Our question for today is the concept of equality stagnant between men and women? And our argument is women still face equality when it comes to salaries, job opportunities, their related work environment, and finally education.
Salaries are a big topic when it comes to gender inequality. Whenever looking at medical field, STEM, or sports, it's clear that there are very big pay gaps. Whether it's as big as sports like soccer with 99,000 and 263,000 of a difference, or a much smaller like medical. So this graph shows us the adjusted annual salary between men and women, men in dark blue and women in lighter blue. And I can see the clear gap between how much women and men are being paid annually, and showing us that with the yellow dot. Sports is also a very big topic when it comes to gender inequality. It is one of the highest, one of the highest places where you can see gaps. Sports like golf are much less noticeable when it comes to gaps, and sports like basketball have much higher gaps. I have included 3 different pie charts that show us Olympic board and committee member percentages, which clearly show how men have a much higher percentage in these Olympic boards. Okay, this graph also shows us the average hourly earning in STEM and non-related STEM jobs for men in also dark blue and women in lighter blue. It's much clearer when you do the math. You can see that there's a 14% pay gap between men and women, with men having the higher hourly wage. And for non-STEM related jobs, it has a 21% pay gap, which when looked at is much less compared to other industries.
When it comes to job opportunities, we can clearly see how there has been women have faced a lot of inequalities, how they've faced a lot of problems throughout the times. And we can see an example that shows that men with a degree only have, they usually get accepted as 40% of the time, when women only get recognized and accepted to this type of jobs the 26% of the time. They usually have rougher work environments and a lot of more trouble when trying to apply for these types of jobs and getting these high roles in companies. As we can see on this graph, where women are noticed as this blue color, as we can see on the healthcare, 63% of women get accepted to these low job levels. But as soon as we start going up this ladder, we can see how women start to get less of these jobs and men start becoming more noticeable in these types of jobs. In this model, we can see how in corporations where women are represented by the gray and light blue color, since the beginning they don't have as much acceptance rate as men. And when we start talking to managers senior level, we can barely see women in these positions.
Many people believe that education is essential, but sadly, not everyone has access to it. And the people that do have access to it might not always receive the best experiences. According to Phyllis Carr, female faculty were more than 2.5 times more likely than men to perceive gender-based discrimination in the academic field. This can be very discouraging for young women who are working hard and studying to enter their desired field. It is unfair for us to ignore the inequalities women are experiencing. To add on, women are unlikely to enter the STEM field due to the standards society has imposed on them. It is expected for STEM to be a field for men. According to Tatiana Gores, boys are believed to be better prepared for science and engineering, since those fields are traditionally overoccupied by males. Multiple studies argue that the school performance of girls is better than the school performance of guys in things like science and math. This tells us that women are less likely than men to major in STEM because of the gender roles society has set for them. Even though the education system has shown that women do better. Even when women choose to take a career in STEM, they typically diverge from the career path they have chosen. This graphic allows us to go more into depth about how women do in college based on their major. As we can see here, all of the jobs here are related to STEM. We have physical sciences, we have math and stats, we have engineering, we have computer sciences, and we have bio and agro science. We can see women are in blue and men are in dark blue. And every single bar, men are over 50% than women. Women have very little compared to men. This next graphic focuses on the different degrees of workers in STEM. As you can see, once again, women are in light blue and men are in dark blue. And the bar for men is significantly higher than the bar for women.
Together, we've reached the conclusion that gender inequality is still seen in multiple fields, and there's a lot of progress it still has, and a lot of progress it still has to be made. But you might be asking yourself, well, what can we do about this problem? And some of the solutions we came up with were these. The first one being schools taking the initiative to teach kids about equality. Having young children being exposed to the concept of equality, starting at a young age, gives them time to start practicing and start learning from it, so that when they become adults and leaders of society, they can teach others about it, and they be ready to deal with this problem. But one limitation that we found with this is that it could take a lot of time for most of the school boards to approve this kind of change to the curriculum. Another solution we came up with was creating laws for protection against inequality, such as the 19th Amendment, which gave women the right to vote. Finding these laws and creating these regulations to help inequality will certainly help society reach at least a certain level of equality. But a limitation that we found with this was that the male community could feel less protected compared to the women. But what these two solutions have in common is that they both work as long-term solutions, and surely both genders can come to an agreement. Thank you for your time today.
Just slide together so I can ask you guys questions. Yeah, you're fine. Just slide together. We'll start on this side, this Alejandro, not that one. We'll start and end with an Alejandro. Alejandro, if you had a fifth person on your team, what's another perspective that they could have used that would have added to this?
Well, I really liked the idea of like seeing how global companies are like being affected more with gender inequality, and I thought that this could have brought a wider view on how gender inequality affects like men and women.
Okay. Naomi, what's a way in which your team's solution made you think different about the research you conducted?
Could you repeat the question?
Sure. What's a way in which your team's solution, the solution that you guys came up with, that makes you think different about the research you conducted?
Okay. So I conducted a lot of research about STEM and also talked a lot about how education is being affected. And it really made me think about how we could incorporate more laws, which was our solution, and like how we should use laws to give women more of their rights, and how we could use laws to give them more rights when it comes to the workplace in STEM, or any workplace at all.
All right, thank you. Andres, what's an example of something that you guys gathered, information that you gathered that you didn't use, and then why didn't you use it?
Can you repeat the question one more time?
Sure. What's a piece of evidence or pieces of evidence or something that you gathered but you didn't use it, and then why didn't you use it?
We also gather information on retirement plans, but we decided not to use it because we didn't really find a place for it. I think Alejandro was the one that came up with that idea, but we decided to exclude us. We did not find a place in our presentation.
All right, and Alejandro, which of those three's work had the greatest impact on you through this process?
Could you repeat the question, please?
Sure. Which of those three's work, the research that they did, had the greatest impact on what you thought about everything with this project?
I will say probably Naomi's, because it was the one that had more research on the whole topic about inequality, and it was the one that mostly helped me because they both work in corporations or big type of jobs, so I really could use what she said on my